Hey,
Hello.
how's it going?
Pretty good. You?
Pretty good. Just a small event happening today over here at Zapper HQ.
Yeah, I heard that someone accidentally pushed the button to launch V2.
Did they? Who could that have been?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, whoever it was, we're going with it. And I'd like to welcome everybody who is here to the live launch for V2, Zapper V2. We're going to get started. For those who don't know me or haven't seen my face before, I'm Lindsay. I'm the content strategist at Zapper. I'm pretty sure you know Seb, this guy right here. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us for this launch. We just want to spend some time with you demoing the new features on our dashboard, showing them off a bit. We've been working really hard on them for what feels like 100 years. And we also want to give you some examples of the types of things you can do with this new version of Zapper, so you can leave with plenty of inspiration for how to start using it to explore Web3. At the end, after the demo, I'm going to lead a Q&A with Seb that will also give you more insight on why it was important for us to build this version of Zapper. And then I also may or may not completely roast him, depending on how well he does with the demo. We'll see. Does that sound fine to you, Seb?
Sounds good. I'm excited for
Great.
the roasting.
Me too. What a great opportunity for me. Let's go. I'll give you a bit of a preview of the product. So the first thing everybody will probably notice is the shift from just a portfolio tracker to a really flexible tool for Web3 exploration. Seb will share more about the reason for this shift in the Q&A for sure, but I want to make sure to start you off for some context on why we did this. We all know that the promise of Web3 is that it can give people full control over their assets and empower them with the freedom to do what they want with their time and money. As you can see by this very sophisticated slide, this is the vision of the space. If we go to the next slide, we know that in some ways it's not living up to that promise. The complexity of the space and the amount of information that's out there is overwhelming, and it's not accessible for the average person. And it looks like this dust cloud in the corner. Slide 3 shows us that because it's siloed and inaccessible, it's really hard to determine who to trust or where to go for reliable information. Right now, we're relying on many intermediaries to help us read this tangled block data. We know that's not what Web3 is about. And slide 4, this is what we give to you today. And these are the problems that inspired us to build V2. We want to do our part to make sure that Web3 lives up to its full potential, so that you can start at the beginning of the maze and go down the rabbit hole and find satisfactory information that is helpful. So we'll go to the product demo. You want to share your screen, Sab?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll show you some of the solutions that we came up with to help with these problems. And you can take it away. We'll start with the homepage, everything that they can find there. Let's see.
Let's go. Well, thank you, Lindsay, for the nice introduction. So V2 has been something that we've been brewing for a while. Zapper has been, traditionally known as a, more DeFi-focused product. And we've been kind of experts at surfacing your portfolio, making your DeFi information easier to read. But as we've seen, the growth in Web3 for the past 2 years, Web3 has become much more diverse. And Zapper's always been built to translate information, make it accessible to everyone. Just like we did with DeFi information was very inaccessible. And our goal is always to surface it in a way that's simple, fun for everyone around the world. And so with V2, we've really looked into conquering the different spheres of Web3. So that's what you'll see here on the homepage. You can explore NFTs, you can explore DAOs. So here you have a featured NFT. You can explore DAOs, and you can explore DeFi as well. If I scroll down slowly here, I can see the trending collections. I'll go later in the different sections with Lindsay.
Yeah.
But this is like a small overview of the different parts of Zapper that you can explore. Here I can see
maybe just,
some...
like right away too, we can but your portfolio is still there. Like you can still use it as a tracker. It's just up at the top where your wallet is. You just click on that and you'll be able to see everything that you expect to be able to see from us. And now there's just more, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, here you could probably notice some accounts that or recognize from Twitter. Here we have a nice area where we feature them as well.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
Do you want to get started with NFTs?
Let's go. Let's jump into NFTs.
Let's go.
So the first section is seeing all the trending NFT collections. So here I can see of the last day which ones have the top sales by collection. So which NFT has the top sales. I can click on one. I'll have more information on the properties, the estimated value, the owner history. Let's jump back. I can easily, collection.
Pick a specific collection, maybe. Yeah.
So let's go to probably the most well-known NFT collection out there, the Bored Apes. So a cool feature that you'll see, well, first, I mean, you can browse the entire collection, is like you can see of whom you follow also as part of this collection. So really kind of reinforcing the social aspect and making discovery more insightful. So for example, I follow a lot of collectors. I like to see what they, collect and own to, make more informed decisions myself on the NFTs I want to look at. Here I can see the whole collection. So let's just click here.
Oh, look at that.
So here I can see of the people that I follow, how many apes they own. I'm just going to show you the top one here, Dingaling, because he's one of the top holders of apes and has one of probably the biggest NFT collections. I click on the item here, and then I can see all the apes that he owns. I can see the estimated value.
That's so many.
That's a lot of apes. So 100 to 5. Yeah. And the thing that's pretty cool is I can, remove this toggle here and then see his entire NFT collection.
Okay, cool.
And
but it looks
like how many NFTs he has. So 10,162. Have to step up your game, Lindsay.
That's a small collection. I have 10. I don't know. I feel like I have a few, but anyways. But if I know someone, if I have someone's ENS address, also it looks like there's a searchable, the search bar we can use to sort of look up, if I know someone's an ape whale, for example, we can type in their name there. And
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one investor that I know has a few apes. And so I'm just going to search for him here in the search bar.
Yeah. Not as many apes as Dingaling, but a couple perhaps.
And then I can view his portfolio. I know he owns apes, so I'll go in the NFTs, and then there you go.
Well, let's see what's on an individual page, because what's super cool about Zapper V2 is just how much information that you can get about an individual NFT and how much of it's built in-house. So our Rarity Score, our estimated value is a really interesting feature. Do you want to talk about those?
Yes, so two big things that we've been working on is, so number one, you'll see here estimated value. We've received a ton of feedback on the current way we estimated value for NFTs. So this is the next improvement on depicting a more accurate estimated value. And you'll see here we estimated this one at 123 ETH. The way we do it is if you look a bit lower, you'll see the different properties. And so what we do is that we look at every property and then we estimate how valuable that property is based on the last sales. So here we have for white. So we've looked at all the Bored Apes that have white fur as a trait, and then did a time-weighted average to come up with a 123. And then it's basically of taking the highest value from all the properties that this NFT has.
That's so interesting, because I feel like right now, if you're trying to figure out how to set a sale price for an NFT, like, that it's not a floor price ape, but you have to kind of do like a whole bunch of calculations yourself, or like determine independently, like, how am I going to value this? Like, what's my sale price? Like, this looks to me like a really helpful way to just understand the value of the things that you have collected as like a starting point, which doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And NFTs are very hard to value because a lot of it is very subjective. Like, maybe someone would have paid more for this ape, or maybe it's worth less. But it's a good anchoring point, as you pointed out, to help you, figure out, where this NFT in relationship to the entire collection kind of positions.
Because right now people are just like, well, maybe I'll just like set it like a little bit above floor price. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't even know. So, but this is really cool. Do you want to, maybe we can use Nft Cool as like an example, like to what you can see on the account page?
Before that, I just want to talk about the rarity.
Oh yeah.
So we've also worked on rarity for NFTs. So every NFT. So if I look back at Mariano's collection, you'll see a number at the top right. Mm-hmm. This is the rarity of this NFT. So in this case, we estimate that this is the 483rd rarest NFT in the Bored Ape collection. And so if I look at Bored Apes, this is, according to us, the rarest, and so on. So it's cool to see of the NFTs you own, where they are kind of positioned from a rarity standpoint inside a collection.
Yeah, that's really cool. And what's interesting about this too is like, there's so many different ways, based on different ways of calculating value, different ways of like a nuanced way of calculating the rarity score, where you can kind of see within a collection just like NFTs that maybe you wouldn't have seen, because you're just kind of sorting by floor price normally or something like that. I really like that. Do you want to like talk a bit about the rarity score, like what makes it a bit different?
Yeah, so let's so going back here, the rarity score, the way we do it is, again, we look at the different traits and how frequently it appears in the collection. Mm-hmm. So this one had 4% of all the Bored Apes have this trait, and then 5.5%. And so we kind of bundle all these scores together and create a general rarity score for the NFT, and then we use that to rank them among the NFTs in the collection. Like, if I go to a rarer one, like say this one, like this one is most likely among the rarest because of the solid gold trait. Yeah.
Okay. And so that would give it a higher weight, like when compared against the traits, but also the other NFTs in the collection. Interesting. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. What do you think about? Yeah, let's go. Because one of the things that we try to do with V2 is make it so that you can flow from discovery to discovery. So yeah, so that Nft Cool is an NFT, or has some apes. If you look at the stats of his apes, like the one thing that struck me was like, this person minted early and has like held them the entire time. And so I'm like, let's just see what else this person is investing in. Like, that's where my brain is going. So here we are in an account page. So this is all the information that you can get from looking up someone else's account. You want to walk us through?
Yeah, so I hear we have Bank. So Bank is the governance token of Bankless DAO. So now, like, my first, like, I'm curious, I want to know more about, Bankless.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. But so you can see like wallet, portfolio breakdown, app holdings, but this transitions into a really cool, another feature that we've added, which is DAOs. And yeah, the bank token is for bankless DAO, right?
Yes. So I'm just going to search
Yeah.
for
Okay,
bankless
cool.
DAO here.
Yeah.
And boom, there you go. Click on it. Then I'm brought to the bankless DAO page.
Yeah, this is very cool to me, like being able to see so much information about DAOs in one place. Also, because right now, like if I want to look up I'm going to websites, I'm like trying to like cross-reference on different articles to like find all of this information. But we've added so many different DAOs and different types of DAOs to V2, so that you can learn more about them. Yeah. What is your favorite part about the DAO page? Like,
I really like the social aspect of it. Like here, I didn't even know that Sasal or Anthony Sassano was part of Bankless DAO. And so this was like immediately like the part that, caught my interest. And so then I just clicked on this, and then I just see like who are the people that I follow are actually in here. And you kind of see a breakdown of ownership as well, which is interesting.
That's
So
super
yeah,
cool.
I mean, this is the member tab. So you can see all the different members in Bankless. I believe this is David Hoffman, if I recognize the PFP correctly.
Yeah.
Like I can click here and then browse his account, see the CryptoPunks that he has, or browse his portfolio. Like everything is super connected.
Yeah. And this to me looks like what doing your own research can look like. Like that's something that we say constantly. We're always encouraging, do your own research, make sure that you're making responsible choices or whatever based on the research that you do. But this to me looks like an example of what that could be. Instead of just telling people to do it, it's like, here's a tool that you can use to kind of just like look at on-chain data in a way that makes sense and make connections, which is really cool.
Yeah, and if we want to like explore more DAOs, there's this page here where I can see all the different categories that we've kind of laid out for DAOs. So here we have DeFi DAOs, and every DAO here has, its own page. We have service DAOs, gaming DAOs, NFT, and social. Like there's one that caught my interest because I thought it's pretty interesting. I really don't like golf, but I just think it's such a cool idea. So there's this thing called Links DAO where it's like owning an NFT in this collection gives you access to golf clubs, I think, across the United States. Like, correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
But like this is something that's cool. And then I can look at who's a member. So I see again Nanex. Like Nanex School seems to be in absolutely everything. But just to showcase how everything is interconnected, I see like the related NFT collection that I need to be a part of this DAO, and then I go on the NFT page, and
that's
I
so
can see the
interesting.
owners.
Well, I noticed like Zeneca.eth, I know that they're like a really big influencer in like the Web3 education space, right? So like you can see my brain's going to, let's look at, you can see how it easily will happen. That's so interesting. Do you want to like maybe see who we can find in the members list of we'll go back to Bankless maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. So members.
Yeah.
So something I do is I like to kind of dig in the member list of some DAOs. So here I'm just to see if like I recognize anyone or like any address that you kind of realize like it's still a small world, right?
Yeah. I wonder. Well, maybe we can just like look up, because I also want to make sure that we're talking about is Zapper still very much the best place to go for DeFi?
Yes.
So why don't we look up we could just go to the DeFi page, or we could look up someone that we know has a lot of interesting investments using the search bar. So I think, what do you think?
Yeah, I have one in mind.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Yes, and not to like make anybody think that with everything that we added with NFTs and DAOs, you won't find satisfying information about DeFi apps and tokens. We're still very much building that out as a huge, especially with Zapper Studio, as a huge part of this new interconnected Explorer. Cool.
So here I can kind of see like the app holdings that this account has. So these are all the DeFi investments. I can also scroll down here. Let me just add a filter.
Oh yeah, this is a fun plug. If you have negligible amounts of tokens in your wallet, you can set like a don't show tokens smaller than a certain amount. Very useful feature. Let's maybe dig into like an app. What do you think?
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the most well-known apps is Aave. So I'm going to click on Aave. So here, this is like I'd say old part. It's like the holdings, obviously, of this account in Aave, but you can see that we added a new tab, which is Explore. So this is a cool place where you can actually discover the different assets in different DeFi apps. So I'm right now on Aave V3 for Optimism. I can discover what I can supply on Aave and what I can borrow as well. So we've kind of built this nice place where you can see everything at the same place instead of kind of going individually on Aave, right? Going on Compound or going on Curve. This is really one place where you can kind of see all the information. And so, yeah, I mean, here I could go by the different APYs. I see that SUSD is pretty good. 3.12 in the bear market is a very good APY.
Yeah. Cool. And what's really cool is that like every different app will kind of be unique depending on what type of app or what they offer. You know what I mean? So we could look at it.
Like here, for example, like I just switch network. Like this is Aave V2 on Polygon, and then I can see like the different assets there, and I can see that there's actually much more Aave V3 assets on Polygon. But
yeah. I mean, just to gently shill our multi-chain and L2 support, many networks, and lots of stuff to do on all of them. So this is very cool. Let's look at maybe what the DeFi Explorer page looks like to go there.
Yeah, so this is kind of like the in the trifecta of NFT DAOs and DeFi, like the final one here. Where you can explore every DeFi app that's supported on Zapper. We don't have all the support for the apps that we support holdings for, like balances for. We're going to roll that out gradually after the V2 launch to really support every single DeFi app that currently have balances for. But here, I can see all the different apps. Here I can see the TIV rankings. So TIV, without going too deeply in it, we've kind of discussed internally about do we use TVL or TIV or this new thing? And we didn't feel like TVL was really reflected accurately what we wanted to depict here. The TIV is total investable value. So it's the total amount of investments made by users in these different apps. And so we felt that was a better way it just worked better with Zapper generally. And that's why we kind of went with that.
That's really cool. Can you tell me why that is, like versus total value locked? Like it just gets closer to what is a useful metric?
Well, we always try to anchor stuff from a user perspective. And like a lot of, say, DeFi apps, the TVL comes from stuff that like things that are non-user related. And so for us, it was like, okay, in Curve, like these are the amounts of, unique users that have deposited into Curve.
Okay.
Because maybe like there's a 2 billion that would have come elsewhere that would add it up to the TVL, but it's, it's not really from a user perspective.
Okay, that seems very helpful. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Do you want to look at another app just to like give an example of something that is different from Aave, maybe?
Yeah, definitely. So here, I mean, you can filter by apps as well. So I
Yeah.
just tapped in Curve. But what's cool is like this is really like a global search bar. So,
Yeah.
I just typed in Curve and I'll see it here as well.
And you see Nft Collections, you see
Yeah,
the
some pretty funny
apps.
ones here.
Someone, oh my God. Okay, no.
Yeah.
And the person who's sitting on curve.eth, maybe it's the protocol, maybe it's a hopeful investor. But yeah, cool. Oh yeah, and then this does look different than the Aave page. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very different.
Okay,
Here
cool.
I can see all the different pools that exist in Curve, and there's quite a
Yeah.
few. So 104, and I can toggle between different asset classes in Curve itself. So, on Curve, there's pools, there's farms, there's a voting escrow as well. You can also vest. Won't go too deeply in this, but like there's multiple types of asset classes in Curve.
Cool. I think that was like a really good walkthrough. I feel like people have like enough of a taste that they have some starting points. But is there anything else that you really want to sort of like share as a part of the demo before we start asking some questions?
Yeah, I mean, well, one last thing here is really like the search bar. I'll just show you how, like, there's everything. Like, I just tapped Uni, and then I have protocol results, so Unit, Uniswap. Then I have collections, then I have tokens, and then I have accounts. So this is really like a global search. I can search for NFT collection as well. So just tapped in, Forgotten Runes, which is a collection I like, and here I see all the results. So it's really like a global search.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to say that we're the Google of Web3 because we're not technically, but this to me, like being able to just like search this flexibly for like all kinds of different assets and verticals is very cool in one place,
So someone put it nicely in Zapper. I don't know who it was, but Google is the Web 2 of Zapper.
Yeah. Burn on Google. Ugh, any Google boys listening? I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So let's switch to the Q&A part, and I want to get a sense from you, I think, and it'll help clarify for people who are listening, like where this might be going in the future and stuff. But like, why don't you just share a bit about why you wanted to build V2 in the first place? Like, where did that come from for you?
Yeah, so it came from, I guess it came about a year ago, when I saw kind of how Web3 became more and more diverse, and I kind of like laid out, Zapper's like product, truth, to be like, people want to see what's in their wallet. They want to see what's going on. And so it didn't really matter that we were focused just solely on DeFi or NFTs. It was really like whatever's in my wallet, I want to be able to see it. So the evolution kind of came from there. But I think ultimately, I see there's such like a big information gap between people that can read the blockchain and people that can't. And like we like to say that, there's no, insiders in Web3, but unfortunately there still are. And some of it isn't due of people with bad intentions. It's that people can actually read the chain and gain information because they can actually read blockchain data before anyone else. And so our goal is really to bring that closer to everyone in a language that's accessible to everyone as well. One thing too is that we like, from a newcomer's perspective, to say that just hop into Web3 and it'll be, you'll discover these different things, but there's no place that kind of like where you can see all the different spheres of Web3 together and
Yeah,
really
just hop right
understand the full
in.
context. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I loved to hear this because like I feel like it speaks to this like through line of your story building Zapper from the beginning, right? Like you took, like so many people, you took an interest in like Bitcoin, DeFi, and now Web3 because you were disillusioned by the traditional financial system that is very opaque, hard to understand, doesn't give people control of their assets, doesn't give people the educational tools that they need to just have control over what they work really hard for. Um, and uh, and then so out of necessity, you sort of found this path and came to DeFi because it was a really creative way to like circumvent some of these like traditional systems. And you built Zapper because you were like, people need a tool that gives them information in a way that's easy to understand. Like it was from like a real need from you as like a user, a participant in the space. And like I really see that with V2 as well. Just to say you're very consistent.
No,
Um,
thank you.
yeah. Why is this access to information so important to you? Like as like a through line, I guess is maybe what I want to ask.
Yeah, well, it's more about leveling the playing field for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also about, empowering people as well. Like we talk about, Web3 as this democratic movement where everyone has access to, invest and kind of build their own path. And that can't really be true if, the information itself isn't human readable or accessible to
Yeah.
people.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first path to actually make it easier to use is to actually make the information legible and accessible. And also like to convey like you'll see a lot of the apps, web apps in Web3. They all work in silos, but it is kind of like counterintuitive in the sense that they're siloed, but they're all built on this shared database, right? But there's no app that's like this shared place that really represents like the interconnectedness of the
Mm-hmm.
blockchain, that people can just follow, a kind of Wikipedia journey, like, or a path on. Like I find myself often going on Etherscan and kind of like looking at the time, and then it's like 2 hours have passed because I discovered, but like that's not something that everyone will do because I mean I'm a developer, so I understand the language on Etherscan
Yeah.
and I can browse it easily. But it's most like how can I give that experience to other people so they can turn it into actionable and insightful experiences for them.
Yeah, I found that was, I mean, because I've learned a lot in my like year plus working here, but I mean, I was an English major, so I am not technical, and it was like a huge learning curve to like be accustomed to like reading information on Etherscan or something like that. And so I surprised myself when I was like prepping for this launch, and like learning about the product and doing my work, that I was actually kind of like getting sucked into like explore everything that Zapper surfaced in a way that people might who have like more of a command of Etherscan might do kind of daily. So I was like writing about how this will enable exploration while actually kind of being like, oh crap, it's been an hour and I'm like looking at this like random
Yeah.
thing. So that's very cool. And I'm excited for more people to be able to have that experience, because it's very interesting. Um,
Yeah, and like people like feel free to share your rabbit hole journeys on
yes.
Zapper, things that you discovered there.
I know. Yeah. I mean, just yesterday in our test, we were like whatever testing the demo and like all of this stuff, and I almost had to cancel everything because I saw the Rugrats collection
No, yeah,
on the
yeah.
homepage. Like I was like, "Excuse me." So yeah. So we're very excited to bring these aha moments to people, I think. Um, a fun anecdote. in my next question for you. So an additional anecdote is that I was on I went on vacation. We were like doing Zapper. It was great. I was like, I'm going on vacation for 2 weeks. I came back and we had decided to relaunch the entire platform, which was hilarious to come back to. LOL. But I heard a rumor that this all happened while I was away because you stole the DAO page from the interns.
Yeah.
So what do you have to say for yourself about that?
So interesting story. I think I started working on the DAO stuff on a Saturday, like out of nowhere, but it really came from a urge of like, because I was kind of browsing other websites with DAOs, and I was frustrated because I thought the information was not laid out properly and it was really hard to see stuff. And I just had this urge to just build it. And so I didn't really think about the interns. I'm sorry, interns. And I just did it.
We thought of the context is we thought of like a fun project for them to work on while they're here. And then, you know, I think you were like, wow, actually, this is,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting because V2, kind of like the idea of V2 kind of came like 2 months ago. The features, like we've been working on them for a long time. And the reason we decided to turn this into a V2 is because we realized that they were all going to launch at the same time. And so just like, let's package this into, you know, this new kind of revamp of Zapper.
And make sure that they talk to each other like in a really dynamic way. Yeah. Cool. All right. A less maybe intense question. I don't want to grill you too much. But in case we have some folks who are relatively new to Zapper, what is like the main difference that you see between Zapper V1 and Zapper V2?
So Zapper V1, I'd really describe it more as a portfolio tracking tool that focuses mostly on DeFi. Like there is obviously an NFT element to it, but it's really more so, you know, me and my balances, and, you know, you can kind of explore other accounts. Zapper V2 kind of turns that into a more multiplayer experience and a more, exploratory experience versus your account being like the first use case. Like the account is one among many features that we have, but it's not like, it's no longer just the portfolio tracker. Like one insight that we kind of got about a year ago is realizing, hey, we're not actually, because like noticing people that were using Zapper and searching for accounts, it's like, actually, we're not building a portfolio tracker. We're building an account profile that, you know, has a lot of DeFi components to it and NFTs. And that was kind of like the shift that helped us kind of gravitate towards our Zapper V2 vision.
Awesome. Cool. I think we have some space to answer a couple questions from listeners, and our community wizards, Apple and Oops, have been pulling some fun ones out. So I'm going to ask you them, a couple of them. The first one's from David O, who's just getting right to the elephant in the room, which is he can see a feed tab is coming soon. When is that planned? Super interested in a feature like that. And also they wish us congratulations on V2.
Thank you. For activity feed, you can expect it in the next quarter, sometime in the next quarter. The goal of the activity feed is obviously you see that you can follow people on Zapper. And so on that feed, you'll be able to see all the different things they're doing on chain, but you'll also be able to see a trending feed of all the different opportunities that are currently happening, meaning that if everyone kind of gravitates to a certain DeFi app, or if there's this new collection that notable collectors have started collecting, it's really this kind of curated and simple and fun way of surfacing blockchain, you know, the recent transactions that happened on chain.
Cool. So that's a teaser, coming soon, TM. But in true Zapper fashion, we had like a leak within a launch. It wasn't enough to just launch V2. We also launched a leak. So thank you, and very exciting for everybody who noticed that. Soon. So next question we have from Armand. Do you plan, this is a hardball, do you plan to improve the integration process so it happens more swiftly?
Absolutely.
How is that going to, yeah.
Yeah, so about 3 months ago, we launched Zapper Studio. Zapper Studio allows developers, third-party developers, community members to directly build on top of Zapper and add their own integrations. If there's builders in the call that have a DeFi app and they're frustrated that it's not on Zapper, you can head to studio.zapper.fi and start working on your integration there. So far, we've had about, I believe, around 60 integrations that have been built by our community. And our community has outpaced us in the speed of integration. So thanks to our community, like I'm really happy to see the progress we made there. Obviously, there's still things that we can work on to improve the process, but our goal is to, if you want to see your app on Zapper, you can build it and it'll be there.
Yeah, like on our end, like, we will still do integrations, but we want to sort of facilitate an experience where it's easy to get, your app integrated on Zapper. And a big part of that at Studio is going to be like just reaching out to make sure that like protocol partners are aware of Studio as a resource and want to integrate it. So if you have a protocol or an app that you want to appear on Zapper, if you have some tech savvy, you can do it yourself at studio.zapper.fi, or it's a resource that you can share with devs or the community at that app, and we'll help you get going on that. Yeah, and just that made me think of something else that I want to add. So Zapper Studio is a huge part of what we have going on right now, but today's launch of V2 also is accompanied by like a new version of the iOS mobile app. So many of the exploration features that you see on our dashboard are also like, we just pushed the new version of the iOS app and they'll be available to explore on that. So I didn't want to forget to bring that up. It's very exciting.
Yes. I've been actually losing some sleep because of our mobile app, in my bed looking at different NFT collections. Yeah.
Alas.
But yes, great job on the iOS team.
Yeah. If you deteriorate over the next few weeks, that's why. I'll remind you to take a nap, maybe. Okay, so we'll do one more question from the audience. And we shared a bit about Zapper Studio. Nico asked us about that. And let's see. Crypto Setya asked, is Zapper going to add a staking feature for NFTs or borrowing, or something along those lines? Is that something we're thinking about?
So not necessarily from a transactional standpoint, but from being able to view NFTs that you have staked that are earning yield, definitely you'll be able to see that on Zapper. We don't have any concrete plans around, lending NFTs or borrowing, but it's definitely there on our radar for sure. But the number one thing will be really being able to track the different NFTs that you have staked that are earning, gaming tokens, yield, or whatever.
Cool. Awesome. That's really exciting to me. One final thing. This is a note to any of our ops managers who may or may not be listening. We have lots of people in the chat asking about our very cool Zapper t-shirts. They're great. We love them. And I don't know that we have plans for a merch store, but it sounds like something that would be a big hit. So that's just, I'm putting that out into the world. But yeah, I think we're coming to the end of our time, and I'm sure like everybody is like ready to just go test out V2. I think the only thing that I want to give you the time to do, Seb, it wouldn't be a community call without a leak. We've already talked about feed, but is there anything about sort of like the direction of how we're going to build on V2, or also a random anecdote maybe that you're going to spring upon all of us right now? When V3, what have you got for us?
So a few little leaks here and there. So yeah, I first talked about the activity feed. We are also working on transactional features with NFTs, basically aggregating, building an aggregator for NFTs where we'll be able to buy and list NFTs directly on Zapper. We're also planning on supporting way more chains for NFTs as well. Yes, being able to see your POAPs. Yes, being able to see, NFTs on Polygon. So that will be coming as well. And for DeFi as well, we also plan to roll out transactions, although that might be later in the year. We also plan on, having a solid, transactional interface there. And probably the last thing that I'd leak is we have been working on a Pfp collection for Zapper.
We're leaking the Pfp collection. That's happening.
I just did it. Oops.
Oopsie doopsie.
And I've seen some concept art, and it's absolutely sick. And I will not do any more leaking, but that's just something to look forward to.
So just to recap, activity feed and what you just did was leak that we're building an NFT aggregator and also a Pfp project. Just some small leaks is what you did.
Yeah, very
right.
small.
I think you gave the people what they want. Very small leaks. I didn't know that was going to come out today, which is very exciting. I'm very excited about the Pfp project. Personally, the art is
not a leak if it has to come unexpected.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, that's it. That's a wrap. On the launch, I just want to thank everybody who's stuck with us through the stream, everybody who tuned in. We hope that you really enjoy using Zapper V2, which is now, it's just Zapper. This is how it's going to be. Don't be shy about telling us what you think on Twitter, on Discord. If you have any problems, submit a ticket to our help center, and we'll get that sorted. But thanks to everybody who made the launch possible, especially our beta testors. You helped this go so smoothly, and gave us like such important feedback that improved V2 and this launch for everybody who's going to go experience it, which you should do now. Why are you still listening? Go play.
Yes, let's go.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
See you later.